Guys, so today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what I believe to be the 5 best long-term investments in the sports card hobby. Now, before we get into that, I did want to say real quick, once again, the giveaway for this week is an Anthony Edwards Select Silver PSA 9, this card right here. If you want to enter 3 simple steps, subscribe, like this video, comment the word done, and you will be entered in to win this Anthony Edwards. We will be going live from the Burbank show to announce the winner, so definitely go ahead and enter if you haven't already. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So the first player that I believe is personally going to make for an amazing long-term investment, keep in mind, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys cards that I'm personally going after. Of course, everyone's in different price ranges, and I highly, when I'm talking about these players, I mean a lot of his different cards. I'm going to go off of, I'm going to go and show you guys a couple of lower end options as well after this. But essentially, one of the main reasons for my personal belief in Steph Curry in the long term is firstly going to be his extremely low population cards. Steph Curry's rookie year was 2009. There were hardly any sets out there. It's pretty much his tops, his Bowman, and his upper deck are the 3 main cards, and all 3 have an incredibly low print run. So his Topps Chrome base is actually numbered to 999, and in a high grade, the pops are as low as 20. So it's essentially an incredibly scarce, set overall, and Steph Curry's year is an incredibly scarce year. You're not going to find incredibly many Steph Curry cards out there, especially for his higher end cards. Even his lower end, you cannot find many out there. And Steph Curry in the long term is going to go down as one of the, revolutionary stars of the game, who totally changed the game. Best shooter of all time. I believe he's going to be an icon, for generations to come. He's just so likable. I believe he's going to stay relevant post-career. And he just, overall, an incredible role model and somebody who I think is going to have a lot of demand on them in the long term. Now, keep in mind, on top of that, he could go down as a top 8, top 7 player of all time. Everyone has their different, ideas of where he ranks all time. But, at the end of the day, he is an all-time great. He already has 4 championships, 2 MVPs, 1 unanimous MVP. His whole, I would say the Warriors have a top 2 dynasty of all time, with all their rings going 73-9, and I just think his name is going to be super relevant in the history books, and combining that demand with an incredibly scarce amount of cards, incredibly scarce selection of his rookie cards especially, I think is like the perfect blend that's going to see these do really well long term. 2 cards that I personally like are, 1 is Topps Chrome, 2 is Upper Deck, number 2, 3, 4. I think are 2 cards to go after, at least for me personally. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into the next pick, and this is another card with pretty similar principles. So firstly, Giannis, his cards are made in 2013, incredibly low pop. Pretty much only his silver rookie and his prism rookie and his hoops rookie are like the 3 main rookies that people go after. Of course, national treasures and all that, but that's way out of the price range for most people watching. So a few cards that I personally like of Giannis is going to be his Select Silver, his Prism Silver, and the reasons for Giannis are pretty similar. Incredibly low pop. He's already won a championship, multiple MVPs, and I think over the next decade, he's going to be contending each and every year, potentially racking up a few more championships in this decade. And I think overall, his prices in the long term are going to do incredibly well. I believe he has a chance to be one of the main faces of the league for the next decade, alongside Luka and a couple other players. So I think there's going to be a lot of demand centered around Giannis when LeBron, Steph, and this whole generation retires. I believe Giannis could end up being one of the main dogs in the NBA, and when he's truly looked at, as the best player in the NBA. I know right now many could argue he's the best player in the NBA, but there are a lot of other more recognizable names and recognizable stars. But as soon as LeBron, Steph retire, I think Giannis is going to have that kind of king status in the league, and I think that's going to really impact his prices, how many people know him, his overall awareness, and I think for the long term, that's going to do incredibly well for his sports card prices, and combine that with incredibly low populations on his most important cards. cards, and I think that's also a perfect storm for his prices to do very well in the long term. Now, without further ado, we are going to switch sports real quick. We're going to go towards football and Patrick Mahomes. Now, I do want to say one thing because I did make a video recently saying I would sell Patrick Mahomes right now. I want to make that clear. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but of course, with the Super Bowl going on, there's a lot of demand around Mahomes right now. But I think, during this offseason, there's going to be an incredible long-term opportunity for Patrick Mahomes' cards. I think if you're able to get in, given the scarcity of most of his important cards, I think if you're able to get in now and just wait it off and as he racks up Super Bowls, as he racks up MVPs, as he just continues to have an incredible career, I think his cards are going to do incredible in the long term. He's already pretty much going to be the new face of the league with Brady retiring already. So I think there's going to be a lot of demand around Mahomes for the next decade. And I think that's going to just cause an incredible buying opportunity as he continues to win. His cards are incredibly low pop. More people get into the industry. More people, look at Patrick Mahomes' cards as a staple in the community and in the hobby. I think it's going to cause his prices to do very well in the long term. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into the next guy on this list, and that is going to be Tom Brady. None other than Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. And I truly believe that his retirement is going to cause his prices to go to the next level. I know it sounds a little bit counterintuitive when someone's playing. Their prices should be as high as possible, or their prices should be, doing very well. However, with Tom Brady, I would definitely say that being the greatest of all time by a long shot is going to cause a lot of his cards to sell less often. I believe a lot of people who are buying into these cards right now, like all of these comps of people who are buying it after he retired, are going to be buying it more so for the long term, generally speaking. And that is simply because they know when buying these cards that he's not going to be playing anymore, right? So they obviously have more of a position to hold it for the long term. Now, whereas a lot of people who are selling these cards were mainly quick flippers, people looking for, the Buccaneers to win a Super Bowl, and they didn't, so they're selling it off now. So a lot of the flippers who were in Tom Brady's market for the short term, all these cards are going to be put into hands of people who are holding it for the long term. And therefore, supply is going to dry up, in my opinion. I believe supply is going to dry up right now. A lot of people are selling off. We're seeing all the short-term people selling off these cards, and they're going into the hands of long-term people who are willing to invest and hold on to Tom Brady's cards for the long term. I truly believe supply is going to dry up. Demand is going to continue to be there. Of course, Tom Brady being the greatest of all time. If you just look at other GOATs of other sports, Tiger Woods, Jordan's most important rookie, of course, is over $200,000. And Brady's another American pro sport, their GOAT by far. So I think, Tom Brady's cards are going to do incredibly well in the long term. I know it's not going to spike like it would if he won a Super Bowl, but I think over the long term, they're going to steadily increase. Supply is going to continue to dry up. The people who are buying these cards right now are going to be holding it for the long term because they know he's not going to be playing anymore, and that's going to cause supply to dry up. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into the guy who just broke the scoring record, LeBron James. Of course, not much I can even say about LeBron's legacy and everything. It's just pretty self-explanatory on how much this guy has accomplished, how this guy has been the face of the league for 20 years, pretty much, give or take a few years where you could argue other guys, but LeBron's pretty much been the face of the league, a top 2 player of all time, and I just think for our generation, he is pretty much the guy, the golden standard of the NBA. When you look at the guy who you think of when you think of the 2000s in the NBA, it's LeBron, and I do believe that as LeBron breaks the scoring record, continues to cement himself as one of the greatest players of all time, there's just going to be more and more demand on LeBron's cards in the long term, and I think that's a pretty self-explanatory. I hope, I have made plenty of videos in the past explaining why I'm personally incredibly big on LeBron in the long term, whether he goes into movies, whether, he just continues to stay a cultural icon, whether he plays with his son for a season and, blows up in popularity in terms of that. As sports cards become global, more popular, I believe LeBron's going to be the staple. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you would like to enter into the giveaway, the link is down below. If you guys would like to enter into the giveaway, subscribe, like this video, comment the word done. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.